Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another daily cryptocurrency video. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get right into the information about XRP. Did not mean for that to rhyme. But all right, guys, as we see, just drew a little not triangle, what am I saying? A channel here, just showing that we broke right through as predicted. Now, the last video, I know I was saying, hey, 28, 27 cents. We wanted to see this big red candle. Keep in mind, this is not financial advice, but this is according to cycle analysis. Now, many people have found an algorithm or a pattern that repeats typically, every 18 months, every 2 years. Just like that, every time there is another burst, we typically consolidate, go through a bear market, low prices, manipulation, etc., and then we see a pop-off with the market. Now, I know we've seen this, and what we're predicting now is typically this. So this is awake. This is Mr. Level Up. Go on YouTube, type in Mr. Level Up XRP. You'll see what I'm talking about. You guys might think this is all, over your heads or just complete wishy-washy hopium type of things, but not at all. If you really zoom in, you go on the mini. Right now, this is the 20-minute time frame from 2017, repeating these hills. Again, it's not going to be exactly the same. There's various variables, but as you can see, the same patterns arising. So we're seeing a drop, of course, and now we're just kind of waiting for a little more consolidation here and then take off. Now the question is, are we going to see another drop? Notice how we see this wick, this huge wick that just got rid of any stop losses. Typically before takeoff, if you really look at the 2017 repetition or even before that with those, there were several bull runs per se, you can see that there's some huge wicks. It gets a little crazy, and this is kind of a term that we've been calling wick fishing that wipes out any stop losses. Now it can get crazy. I know it did dip all the way to high 24 cents, which is crazy to think, guys. But the ground floor is rising. This is typical manipulation, and there is always a big sell-off before it pops off, a drop before the pop. So I just want to emphasize that. Here's me just being funny late last night, basically a pro with TA, and literally just predicting we're going to see a drop, something like this, and then take off. Now, this time frame, I think it'll happen a lot sooner, but be ready, guys. This is all correlating with Swell, which is Ripple's annual conference that we're seeing. Now, in my opinion, I think we'll blow right past 40 cents and, maybe a little retrace, and then boom, pop off. None of this is financial advice. It can go the exact opposite way. Just know that I'm putting myself out there right now. Nobody knows. Do not be fooled that anyone knows for certain. When anybody puts out a price prediction, they're making themselves vulnerable. For all you keyboard warriors that comment on a video saying you know nothing, well, the fun fact is about life, nobody knows anything. So good for you for typing some witty comment. But anyways, what I want to talk about, guys, is there's so much happening on a daily basis within the XRP community. So much news, whether it's for corridors, new regulations, compliance, new team members, acquisitions, new offices, things of that nature. It's so hard to keep up with. And then especially with just cryptocurrency as a whole, and then especially with just really interoperability, smart contract developments. There's so much going on. I'm only one man. I do what I can when I can. Thank you for everyone that sends me information as well. I try to read, watch videos more than you guys would ever believe. Like, it's a full-time job. But anyways, I just want to say thank you for everybody. I don't know everything, and if I don't know, I'll do my best to find out. Now, with all these corridors being lit up, obviously we know the Philippine peso and Mexican peso are the main ones that are really lit up at this point because they're low-hanging fruits. We are expecting more to onboard. I know that video yesterday that I released, I was showing Ripple's latest commercial, and they literally hint at showing like another 5 corridors. We went through those currency pairs and showing that, lighting them up as well. Now, something big is coming in terms of the remittance market. Typically towards Q4, this is when companies begin to invest. They have leftover money ready to launch new services, test it out, go out with a bang at the end of the year. And especially if they can generate cost savings from this, absolutely. Now remember the effect of network effects. The more people that are using XRP, the more valuable it then becomes for them because it offers more cost savings thanks to the liquidity, the depth of the order books. And this is where all the savings comes from. I know the software products originally was XCurrent. People were saying, oh, no one's going to use XCurrent. Then they did. Then they said, oh, no one will use XRapid. Then they did. And now as more people transition from 100% XCurrent and start going to XRapid, or now called ODL, on-demand liquidity, which is really just the whole software suite of RippleNet utilizing XRP, it becomes more and more valuable. Think of network effects, the common analogy with the telephone. If you own a single telephone or a computer, it's not really valuable unless there's a network of others that have them. Once more and more people have a telephone, you're going to want a telephone so you guys can all communicate. Same concept with banks. So what I want to emphasize now is regulators are realizing that CBDCs, central bank digital currencies that are literally being built today, acknowledged by the biggest banks in the world, by the biggest governments building their own stable coin, or pegged coin, I should say, since it's not really stable if it's tied to a, unstable asset. All of these are out today. People said this would never happen. We've been talking about this for over a year, predicting it, and it's happening in front of our eyes. Cryptocurrency, these CBDCs, cryptocurrency is here to stay. This should be validated. It's here to stay for years to come. Now, if they do not set legitimate guidelines now, they are going to have to run faster to catch up later on. The regulators are aware of this. There is pressure now more than ever. Now, what I'm saying is when I say cryptocurrencies are here to stay, am I saying the top 2,000, 3,000 projects are here to stay? Absolutely not. There's so much, wash trading. There's plenty of scams. There's so many ICOs that failed that don't even have proper funding. It's a complete joke to me. All right. So I'm saying what will stay is actual assets that are utility tokens, exchange tokens, maybe even security tokens, stable coins, things that actually provide value, have a use case, and solve real problems. Will Bitcoin stay? Yeah, I don't know. I think it will, just from the name brand recognition. I'm not getting into that. I believe that XRP will stay and succeed. People are dropping FUD every single day. I will literally compile a list and just go through all of it. If you guys actually did your own research instead of just asking some content creator about every little thing, you would have the answers. Like, go read some websites and ask your questions. And again, find me on Twitter, tag me in things, ask me anything, and I'll try to get back to you. I'm super, super responsive. All right, so anyways, right here, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse discusses Mark Zuckerberg's testimony on Facebook's Libra cryptocurrency and plans to open a new office in DC. And they're goofing around. It's funny. This guy goes, yeah, I mean, Facebook, something in reference about Facebook buying Brad, and he kind of chuckles, and I thought this was comical. But what this led me into was the ripping here, and I always like his tweets. He basically just says, your perceived enemies can also help you from time to time. Mark Zuckerberg is putting the spotlight on outdated financial infrastructure of the United States and the crippling regulatory holdups. 100% agree. This is awesome. All right, right here from payments, this is all sent to me by I Am Legion, so thank you, sir. So 50% of FIs, financial institutions, are not strong enough to survive a slump or an economic slump, some type of recession. They're unable to compete with all of these fintechs, financial technology startups, and firms. So they're basically being forced to adapt or die, just like we're seeing many banks as well. All right, right here, U.S. banks to axe thousands of branch jobs, with customers continuing to migrate to digital channels. U.S. Bank is preparing to axe thousands of branch positions, according to Bloomberg. Now, my belief with this, and a lot of people agree, is as we are seeing everything moving towards a tokenized economy, we are seeing adoption into cloud, all of that, you should realize that a lot of the brick and mortar branches per se might not need to be there, especially in smaller towns or, big cities as much. So what's going to happen is I still believe there's going to be physical locations, of course, but a lot of it is going to be more and more mobile, based in the cloud, where you're going to have your own banking and mobile applications like we do already. Now, I know a lot of young people might not even step into a bank, might not even write checks anymore. You might just take a picture of your check or paycheck, or just have auto pay set right into it. Same concept. We are moving towards a basically automated future. Just follow these trends. You can look at the macro view or the micro view, and you'll see what is coming. All right, right here, Crypto King, thank you. So Ripple and XRP news, the number of customers using on-demand liquidity, ODL, which is XRP, surged in Q3. No surprise, but we are just getting started, guys. Just getting started. Remember Alex Cobb talking about the batch payments he has streamed, and they are literally showing live payments getting larger and larger, which is good. We're seeing that ramp up that MoneyGram has been predicting. FYI, XRP is literally the only cryptocurrency actually proving true utility in over millions of dollars per day in volume and usage. Now, obviously, it can literally scale to trillions per day, and they've talked about scaling it from this 1 million to 10 million to 100 million over time and developing this liquidity. But you have to see the bigger picture of what's happening. As I've been saying in a lot of videos, if you want to make money, people are going to wait until we see a huge green candle. They're going to wait until XRP takes off, and then they're going to invest. But as an investor, you want to buy low. You want to get in before the money to make maximum optimum gains. All right. So now we're seeing these batch payments from originally that Alex Cobb, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, found payments from like 7,500 XRP. Then we found a few batch payments of 40,000 XRP, then 80,000. Now they're regularly, I mean, it's easier to find over 100,000 XRP batch payments. And the largest one that I believe he's found yet, unless he just found a bigger one, was like 250,000 XRP, which is awesome to see. This is utility, guys. Do not just watch my videos. Actually look this up yourself if you do not believe me. I have no intention on lying or stretching the truth. I think by convincing a few of you to buy XRP, there's nothing in it for me. You guys are retail investors, not to belittle you, but I am here for the big money of institutions actually getting on board, using XRP for on-demand liquidity, sourcing liquidity when they need it, for what they need it, instantaneously. When this happens, even if you guys, it doesn't make sense to you, why would banks make so many random millionaires? One, there's not that many of us. Two, as a business, if you want to get a return on your investment within 5 years, it's a no-brainer to do that. When you're talking billions upon billions of dollars with 27 trillion on the high end sitting dormant, unable to work for them, if banks do this, they can get a return on investment within about 2 years, mathematically speaking. That is a no-brainer for someone that needs to switch this 40-year-old technology and actually start making serious money. A lot of people argue that XRP, oh, well, XRP is not good for the tier 1 banks. They like all the fees. You know, they're taking advantage of all the tier 2, tier 3 banks with fees and controlling them. Yeah, that's true to an extent, but there's still more money to be made when you're setting trillions of dollars to work for you rather than skimming the top off from the little guy. You have to look at it like a business. With simple logic, you're actually going to see what's happening. Everyone's priming the masses. Bitcoin is the typical distraction. Everyone thinks cryptocurrency is a currency we're going to buy coffee with. That is such a joke to me. Why on earth would I do that when I can just use cash? Maybe the US dollar will be digitized and I can do that too because I already use my credit card. Yeah, sure. I don't care. That's not what I'm looking to do. XRP is a utility token to settle transactions on the back end layer. Now, what am I saying with settle? Because people don't understand the difference between payment and settlement. Payment, you can see on the flows, yeah, you received your payment, you think it's all settled. The consumer, you and I, or some banks don't even know the difference. But when we're talking about the core ledger within the central banks, the payment often is not settled for 3 to 5 days. There are heavy fees. 6% of the time, the payment is lost altogether. This is what I'm talking about. That's why it should be no surprise to you that if XRP even captures 10% of this ecosystem they're going after, the price will be crazy high, like significantly higher, orders of magnitude higher than 25 cents. That's what I'm emphasizing. Please do your own research if you doubt me, and hopefully you come to the same conclusion. If you don't, ask me. All right, I know I'm ranting like crazy, but I am just like pumped right now. Maybe because I've just been reading a lot. But anyways, Michael, Val5 Links. The fintech startup has also made 3 new additions to its GR team, which includes the addition of Craig Phillips, Ron Hammond, and Susan Friedman. So as we can see here, so right in this article, former counselor to the Secretary of the U.S. Treasury Department, Phillips' addition to Ripple will exponentially bolster the firm's policy leadership acumen. Her addition to Ripple's board of directors will give the firm's strategy team expertise in identifying regulatory opportunities to expand Ripple's market footprint. Next, with Friedman, will provide much-needed regulatory and policymaking expertise to Ripple as she joins the firm as the International Policy Council. I mean, what more do you need to see? And then, of course, Ron Hammond, we already know, very young guy, which is actually very surprising. But he joins Ripple having previously served as the legislative assistant to Representative Warren Davidson, where he brought policymakers from both sides of the aisle together to revitalize the Token Taxonomy Act. Guys, regulations, can you smell it? The clarity is already there. They're stalling. Something is up. And even Digital Asset Investor was talking about how Barry Silbert finally came out of the woodworks again. Something is going on with the crypto space. Be ready for some FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. Be ready for typical market tanks. And whenever these huge drops come, that is when you buy and you can expect big green candles and upside. Now, I often, and I know this might be super bullish, this is not financial advice, so please do your own research. Everyone has different preferences. But I wholeheartedly believe when we see more and more utility ramping up, which is now a better time than ever, I think one of the greatest regrets many people will have is thinking too small and selling too soon. That's just what I wanted to share. But again, guys, this is the last article. And then, I mean, again, there's so much FUD that I am trying to battle on a daily basis, and I don't have time to comment to every stupid comment that, like, says something rude. You can have a different opinion. That's fine. You can have one, but you actually have to back it up. And I can back up all of this. I mean, people are saying, oh, well, now Ripple, or XRP, I should say, is not even a cryptocurrency. Well, I mean, yeah, it is. A blockchain is literally a growing list of records, and these are blocks, and they're linked and secured using cryptography on a distributed ledger. Now, each block contains a cryptographic hash of a previous block, the timestamp, some, transaction information, data. That's literally a cryptocurrency. And that's exactly what XRP does. It's literally full of ledgers. It's way superior than just Bitcoin as well. And again, I think a cryptocurrency with actual application and use case should be called a digital asset. And XRP is one of the only cryptocurrencies that I know today being used, cough, cough, by groups of people, not huge levels yet, because we need to grow the depth of the order books and the ecosystem. But keep in mind, whenever anyone asks, oh, it's a scam, that's a freaking joke. It is literally being used live by MoneyGram, almost $2 million a day in payment flows for remittance corridors, the Mexican peso, the Philippine peso. People are thinking you want to buy coffee with XRP. No, I'm just riding this wave as we are making another transfer of wealth. This is where the money is made. Every time there's a recession, anytime there's anything between technology, the railroads, telecom boom, the internet, the .com bubble, you can ride these waves. Even with social media, people riding the waves of investing in different platforms early on, like Twitter. You have to see these trends. The trends are your friends. Now, XRP has many more utility, like use cases, rather than just mere cross-border payments and remittance. I mean, of course, this obviously sources global, liquidity for instant cross-border payments and settlement. But we can talk about micro payments. We can talk about smart contract applications, just a mere medium of exchange, just like Bitcoin. It can be a store of value, if anything, better than Bitcoin, especially long-term when it actually has that stability at a higher price that we all want. Then as a bridge currency, of course, and when it's always chosen on the XRP DEX when it's the fastest option. So the auto bridging capability, we can do business to business payments. We have tips, of course, even micro loans. I could go on forever. Anyways, guys, I feel like I've been ranting a really long time. You better tune in for the next video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.